Hello! How is everyone doing? I'm so sorry. It was already a rare day, so I got started quite late. But this night the time changed, and that always messes me up. So that's why I'm so incredibly late, and I do apologize. I'm sorry. It's a time change. It really messes with me. I'm sorry. Today we're going to discuss The Impossible Creatures by Katherine Rundell for the middle grade book club, A Pinch of Mischief. And it has been a while since we've read this. So we've read this book in September. And the live show unfortunately couldn't go on because I was sick. And here we are. You know what? I so feel this. I remember nothing. I really, really needed to dig deep. Like, oh my god, how am I going to do this live show? And I now remember the ending. So to be completely honest with you, still don't know how we're going to do this spoiler free. Since I only remember the ending. I did enjoy it though. Welcome, Kate. Welcome. Thank you for reminding me. The fun fact was that I did not realize it was time by the time you asked that. It has been really weird because it feels like it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon and 10 in the evening all together. For me. So yeah, I didn't realize. I'm so sorry. That's why I'm late. It's the time change that messes me up. I'm so sorry. But thank you. Thank you for reminding me. I might remember dragon. That's it. Yeah, there was a cute dragon that, please don't ask his name. I don't know. It was. I remember more and more, but it is not as detailed as I normally remember books, or especially since I try to read it in the week of the live show. I still remember it quite well. That is obviously not the case, unfortunately. So you do need a bit of your guys' help. Hello, Larissa. How you're doing? Thank you all for being here on such short notice because I messed up time because of the time change. I'm so sorry. I truly am sorry. I feel a bit guilty and a bit stupid. So if you think I'm stupid too, that's fine. But we think the same. Names. There were names. Look. We had Maul. That was one of the main characters, right? And then we had Christopher. That was the POV we got. It was a griffin called Gallifan. Oh yeah, Gallifan. That's true. Did you remember that, or did you look that up? That's good. I didn't like this book, and I can't exactly point out what it was. I kind of feel you. I was extremely apprehensive about this book because I have read A Middle Grade by Katherine Rundell before and I disliked it. Not because I hated it with a passion, but because I just was bored. Luckily for me, I did end up liking this one. However, I only gave it 3 stars. So it is a very middle-of-the-road book for me. Nothing special, but also not bad. I did enjoy it while reading it. But I also think that's why a lot of things didn't stuck. Until I literally, for this live show, read the back again and read, paged through the book. And that got my memory going a bit. So yeah, I think that's why I don't remember a lot about it. I read 46 Nevermore Dragonaton. No way I can. Yeah, no, I would not. That would be very special if that is possible. So normally we do atmosphere, right? But let's do characters because I kind of somewhat remember stuff of characters. This is gonna be my worst live show ever. I'm so sorry. I really do try. So Christopher is the boy we follow. The one who has to figure things out. And I feel extremely neutral about Christopher. I don't think I really liked him, but I also didn't hate him. But he was not one of the most favorite characters, or even the most interested ones. I get why we follow his POV. But I do feel like every character was more interesting than him. And then we had Mal, that became his friend. And the two children fleeing together. There were absolutely some points in the book that I really disliked Mal. I don't really think I liked that character. I don't hated her. But I also didn't like her. And then, what's his name? The sailor. Fiddens Nighthand. I did like Fiddens. I think it was interesting. I also really liked the creature he was sailing with. The navigator. Then for the dragon, the rest are more of it. Yeah, I also love the dragon. I do think I love every creature in this. I also really, really like the dryads. And the griffin was pretty cute. But then we had this lady going with them at some point. Was she called Lena? I really liked her though. Night of the Pirate. Yeah, that one. The one they sailed with. Like, I need to be spoiler free still, so I can't say anything. But he was, important. I think there was a nice grandpa. Yeah. And I wish we got to see more of the grandpa, because I think he had a really interesting story that we didn't get to explore at all. Hello, sorry I'm late. Don't be sorry, Ave. I was late, like an hour and a half. Because the time change fucked me up. So, yeah, don't worry about it. You're not the only one. That's why I was kind of like, oh, damn, shit, guys, I'm live at 15. Sorry. Even when Kate asked for it, I was still confused in the time, so I'm sorry for that. Pop Ice Sinbad. Which one? The dragon, I really, really dig the dragon. Tiny but sassy. That is a character trope I love. Give me any tiny sassy character anytime. And I'm happy with that. Arian! Yeah, Gwen. Yeah, Arian, I really liked her. Yeah. But I can't really decide if I liked Eerie or Night Hand the best, but what I think I really enjoyed was their relationship, how they worked together. Like, it is something that should not work, but it worked really, really well. And that's what I really enjoy. Right? I think the grandpa was so interesting, but we didn't get any of him. So that was sad. I would have loved to know more about him, maybe in the next book dome. Let me put the poll up. Because we're supposed to read the next book next month in November. So let me check, put the poll up if you guys actually want to read the sequel. You want to read the sequel? Or Poisoned King. Yes. No. I'm not even going to give you the maybe option. You just have to choose, guys. I'm sorry. I must say the book started off exciting, but it was a bit left in the middle while he was there. Yes. Yeah, I do feel the dip. It didn't start excitingly for me in the first chapter. Obviously, I think for me, it was only starting to get excited when we got there. And then there was definitely a dull in the middle, which I feel like happens more often in books. That's something I don't enjoy as much. And then the ending was nice again. That was a missed opportunity to me. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I feel that too. But there is a sequel, so maybe that's where the grandpa gets more attention. I have no clue, honestly, where the sequel is going with that ending. I don't know. I don't feel there needs to be a sequel to this book, if I'm completely honest with you guys. And Never Fear is the Ratushka Navigator with Yeah. The Ratushka was really good. That was the one I was like, the map. The one he was sailing with and did the map. That one. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed her. But also, we didn't get to see a lot of her. I would not have minded if we saw more of the Ratushka. Or the Ratushka population in general would have been interesting. Look at us being... Yeah, right? Your guys are so extremely helpful again. Not me needing to make this a decision. I'm gonna see... Very, very helpful as always, right? Like, this is how polls end. I'm good either way. 50-50. No, I just... like I said, for me, there didn't have to be a sequel. I think it was fine just the way it was. I don't need specifically more about it. But on the other hand, then we need to choose a new book for November. Oh, I know one, actually. All right. I'll make a new poll because you guys are so extremely helpful. Because I know which book I would otherwise rather read with you guys. But it's a sequel. And I'm not sure if you guys have read the first book. I feel like most of you have because it is by an author most of us like. So, would you rather read The Poison King or what is it called? Witchlight by Dominique Villante? What did I do? That's a question and answer section. I don't know what that does. What that does. Because I know Witch Park was one you guys really wanted to read, and I was really bummed I didn't choose that for the book club. And I know, I think a lot of you picked it up actually by yourself. And her sequel came out last month. So we could read it together in November. I am going to start a Witch Park this week. Oh. So that's an option. Whatever you guys prefer. If it is The Poison King or Witchlight, it is both the second book. So, just a coin, just not The Witcher. You never know, right? I don't mind either way, so I'll be reading both. Yeah, but please choose, okay? Please make a decision for me. About this book, though. I did enjoy I really enjoyed the creatures in this book. I think that is what really, really interesting to me. I think the characters were okay, but not something really special. But I did like the bond between the characters and how that came together and how they worked together. This is so helpful. If that makes sense. Yeah, I'm very, very surprised by this, Larissa. No, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I do have a favorite here. I would rather read Witchlight, but I am truly okay with any outcome. Like, if I can read this, I got my duology for Hichkes, so that's, that's good. I haven't read Witch Park. I do think you will enjoy it, Ewald. I do think so. It is about it's not ancient, but it's similar to that. It's about a magical house with a strong will. It's kind of stubborn, and it has wyvern, kind of butler-esque type in the house. And then we have a corrupt uncle. We have one girl desperately needing to kindle her magic, and one girl desperately trying to put their magic in a box. If that makes sense. And they're gonna go through a secret witch school. And you get both POVs and then they come together. It does mean that you need to read both books. But we can do the live show at the end of November. That would always have been the plan. It seems you can read 46 books in a month. I think you could make it if you wanted to. I love the creatures, but the story just didn't really do it for me. There was this quest and only this quest. Maybe I was missing something around it. No, I honestly do think that is it. I do feel this book is very straightforward. And it's a very classical setup in that way. In that we see a lot in Portal Fantasies in middle grade, that kid falls through other world, needs to do quests before getting home. And I think that's exactly what happened here. And in those books, usually, I personally don't mind, because either the quest is very interesting, or the characters are super interesting or nice, or the world is very special. And although I think that in this book, the world definitely has lore, and there was a lot of history to it that we got sprinkled in, I still felt that the world building was kind of lacking. And I can't describe why, because if I look back at it, I do think we got a lot of the history of the place, especially within the quest. But I still couldn't really visualize how everything looked for me. And I don't know exactly why that is. If it was not enough descriptions of the land, whereas we did get a very extensive description of all the creatures at the start, which I wish they didn't do. I think it looks really good in the physical copy. As an audiobook, it was so tedious, I skipped it. And then it was hard to really see those individual islands for my eyes, and because I feel like they all look very distinctively different, but I could not envision them, if that makes sense. Like, we even been on an underwater world, and I think that is why this was only, like, I have read loads of books like this. Portal fantasy, going to magical places. And I feel like out of all those other books, I got more than out of this book. I either love the world way better than this one, or I love the characters much more than this one. In this one, the only thing I really, really loved was the creatures. The creatures were so good. I love the swings. I love the dryads. I think the creatures were done extremely well, which for a book that is called Impossible Creatures is extremely important. So I think that is done very, very well. And I did really like the history of the place and of the magic. I did really enjoy it, but somehow the world building didn't feel enough to me, and I can't tell you why not. Because I feel like in a different book or in different books, I do not have a specific book in mind, just in general, in this type of books, I have read books with less history of the places, less lore to the places. But still, that the world building in those books felt bigger, better, more clear to me than in this book, which is a bit weird, right? I completely agree, Larissa. Yeah. Yeah, I honestly do think Larissa's absolutely right that it was what it was. Like, it was a kid going on a quest. That is just the book. But I was telling in a show, yeah, maybe that's why, Larissa. Maybe that is why. That could be. That can definitely be. And it's sad to me, because I really enjoyed the history of this book. I really enjoyed the lore of how this magic came to be, and how the islands came to be, and how they were being protected, and why they needed to be protected, and that's why the rest of the world couldn't come in, and that you have these gatekeepers, the few of the humans in our world that knew about it. I really, really enjoyed the lore of that. And I think that's why I'm sad, because it feels like this book should have been a 5 stars for me. And I know that if this story was written by a different author, let's say Dominique Villante, Phill Hichkes, Mr. P.G. Bell, Laura Ellen Anderson, Michelle Harrison, it would probably be 5 stars for me. So there is definitely something in the writing style that is not completely working for me, and it's very sad because I think I should have loved this story. And I can't put my finger on why this is not a 5-star. Maybe because, I don't know, I don't think that's fair either to say that everything was too fast, because I feel like this is the pace of a middle grade. I don't think it did anything weird there. I don't think it is paced differently. So maybe it were the characters that were lacking and they were built, but the history and the lore was so good. This is a book I would recommend. Maybe that's it. Maybe this is a very typical middle grade. So if you like a portal fantasy questy middle grade, you're probably gonna like this book. But it's probably not gonna be your favorite, but you're also probably not gonna hate it. It is those, you know, middle of the, like some with some food, right? You can give me noodles, I will probably eat every noodle. But if they're not Vietnamese, I'm gonna be a bit disappointed. I feel like that's it. Like a quick food that is fine. You will enjoy it, but it is nothing special. You're not gonna pay too much for it. But you also are fine eating it, whatever, because you don't hate it. I feel like it was this kind of book, which is not a bad thing. Like, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's a good thing to have a book that you could read in any mood. I could read this when I'm happy, and I could read this when I'm sad. I could read this in a reading mood. I could read it in a not reading mood. It was going fast. There's an audiobook. I'm good. But it is not a favorite. It is just missing something. Which is a bit weird, since there were dragons in it. Oh, the creatures of the sea were so interesting. That lady that lived in the sea. The very rich lady. That was an interesting character. And I'm not saying I liked her, but she was interesting. I agree. It has all the ingredients that I like, but it is, yeah, this exactly. This exactly. And I don't dislike it. I think you disliked it more than I did. But it is plain and standard. And it's, you know, it feels so negative, but I did enjoy this book. It is just a tiny bit frustrating knowing that this story had everything to be a 5-star for me. I think that's it. I enjoyed the book, but I do agree it's easily forgettable. Maybe it's because they switch from place to place rather than explore one area more. Yeah, I was thinking that. But then I thought about The Impossible Trains by P.J. Bell. The Train to Impossible Places. Sorry, that's the one I meant. They go from place to place. They don't even stay in a place for more than one chapter sometimes. And I still could see that world more clearly than this one. And I honestly think this one has more lore and more history, so more background to it than some of the places in the Train to Impossible Places. But I still would say that the Train to Impossible Places has better world building. And I cannot tell you why. And I think you have read both, Kate, so maybe you can tell me. Whatever levels of mob boss, right? I did feel that a bit. I did think she was a very interesting character. And I do like how they dealt with her. I do really, really like that. I just got it through. Oh, I could only see the train in that series. Alright, yeah. For me, I think that would be expected. I think that is very fair. Because in some places they're even briefer than in this book. But I could see that world more clearly for me. And I don't know why. I just got through the medium of audio. My eyes not for reading. Yeah, and I think I did it in audiobook. And I have checked the book. But except for the bestiary, you didn't miss any. There are not any more illustrations that could have made it clearer. So maybe it's the writing style. I feel like it must be something in the writing style. It must be. Because all the ingredients are there. There is high lore. There is loads of history. The lands are truly magical. The creatures were amazing. I do agree with Larissa that there was definitely a dull in the quest plot line. So it was interesting. It got a bit boring, and then it was interesting again. So that could maybe have been shortened, but overall, I did like the quest plot line. I liked what we needed to do, where we needed to go, why we needed to go there. So then it is either characters or writing style. That is the only two left that I think. But there were very interesting characters in there to me. Like, obviously, all the creatures are characters too. But there were at least 3 human characters that I found very interesting. So I feel like that should be enough to carry a book. It was not the POV though. So maybe that is the problem. Although in the Train of Impossible Places, I also find basically any character more interesting than the POV. So I don't think it's that one either. So that leaves the writing style. It has to be the writing style. But I cannot tell you what in the writing style it is. Because I think objectively the writing style isn't bad at all. I think it's pretty good. It is not my favorite, personally, but that is a personal thing. I think objectively seen, this is, good writing. I don't think it's it's very, I don't think it's the top of the bunch, right? It's not the, oh my god, this author is so extremely talented, this is a once in a lifetime writing style. But I do think this is a very decent, it's a good writing style. How we write, sometimes I just find stuff like this so frustrating. Like, why do I not give this book 5 stars? Because it should be. And then I want to know why. Because I do feel like, that does help pick out books next time. If I know what I like and why, because I have a very clear perspective of what I don't like. And I do think that is the reason why I haven't read a book that I truly hated in the past few years. I dislike books, but there are no books I have truly hated anymore. Because, been there, done that. Did them all in my first 2 years of reading. And now I know exactly what I will hate. What is a book that is highly likely for me that I do not like. And then I would just not read that book. But what the difference is what makes a book a 3-star or a 5-star while all the ingredients are there. And I think if I figured that out, I would be able to easier pick out the 5 stars for me. So that's why I'm kind of interested in it. Why the fuck is this not? But otherwise, it's fine. I had a good time. I had a blast. But I don't think I can tell you more without spoilers. So if you have all read this book, would it be okay to go into spoiler mode? Because I think that makes the conversation a bit easier. Because, I don't remember that much, so it is harder to talk without spoilers, I feel like. Also, I'm not exactly sure who the dragon on the cover is. Yes, we can go to spoiler. Alright, I'll put the spoiler screen on. If you're looking this back right now, while you haven't read the book completely yet, this is your time to turn off. Please, everything after this will be spoilers. This is your last warning. Let's go. I really like the maze. Can we just say that immediately? Back from my eye drop. Alright, we're in spoilers now, emotes. So, feel free to say anything you can remember. If it comes up while we talk about it. I really like the maze. In the end, the one maze that we have to go to find the tree of all the magic. I really like that maze. Which is very funny because usually I have a hard time with mazes. So that I really enjoyed actually. And how hard it was to get through and all the challenges they had to do. I really found it interesting that they actually had to leave Mal behind. While she was the chosen one. And then obviously she came back. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It felt a bit like too late. In Dutch we say mustard after the meal. It felt like mustard after the meal. I don't know. I don't think I like that part. And I don't like the love declaration that was thrown in at the end. I did not like that part. But I really like the maze and the things they had to do. I really like that they had to get all these items and then had to go to the prison island, basically. And then they were still stunned that they got cheated by one of the prisoners. How? How are we surprised by that still? But it was not in a... I got annoyed for 1 second there, maybe. I wasn't that annoyed by it. I found it extremely funny, actually. Which is probably saying about my commitment to the book. Because if I would have been extremely invested, that would have been... Yeah, that would have ruined the book for me. But I was not that invested, so I found it very funny. Nothing we remember. No. Well, this is what I remember. The maze, basically. And then the human trying to steal the magic of the tree to be the most all-powerful. Obviously, horrible people again. It's always the people who ruin stuff. I have forgotten so yeah, but this is all normally I remember every detail. So this is like the rest. I know they have been chased through a forest. Oh, and they found the unicorns and they let them ride them. That was a really cute moment. I really dig that moment. But then all of a sudden the killer was right behind them, and I was like, how can he do that? They're riding unicorns. And he is just running. So that felt a little bit impossible, but I do really appreciate when middle grade books actually kills off characters. So, was it the grandma or the mom of Mal that got killed? And I think I really appreciated that. That they dare to do that. Yes, this one. I like the Sphinx character Nida saying, "Don't worry, I won't eat him." Yeah, I really like the Sphinxes because they were so sassy. But there were a few times that they were trying to be reassuring, right? Like, I won't eat him until they see my mother, like something like that. And we're like, I know what you're trying to do here, but this is actually not making it better. You are not being as reassuring as you think you are. I really like that about the Sphinxes because they're so all-knowing. In this world, right, they know everything, and that's why you get the riddles. And then they do awkwardly so stupid social things. And I found that contrast really, really funny. That's why I really, really dig the Sphinxes. He's a killer, so maybe like Slasher, he can just teleport behind them. Yeah, it felt a bit like that. And then they had to jump in the boat, which was fine. And then I really liked that Nighthand came off rough, which he was not. And I really, really like how Arian got his sweet side out, but also was teasing him with his, very brute-like appearance that he found very important. And he was all about trying to be the top guy. And that was very important to him. And then she was just teasing him with him all the time. And I really enjoyed that. And then, he obviously got teased that, you're protector of the chosen one, but the chosen one hasn't been here. So what is your true job now? But that was by a pop lady. That was not by Arian. Arian was very respectful of that because she was like, yeah, that is very important to them. We don't fuck with that. I really like that she was pushing him, but was very respectful of what was actually important to him. But I like the pop moment nonetheless. And then obviously he all became the guardian of the chosen one again. And I did root for him. I think that Nighthand was cute. And I know something with the shop of the stolen goods, basically. That Maul has gotten items out of. And that's how she got the compass. So I think that's why it was important for the story, but otherwise it was not, right? Or did I miss something? And I really like that the kids had to go inside that city where the council was. And then they fucked up really bad. And Ears first didn't want to come to them because obviously he was searched for. And then they fucked up so badly that he came and rescued them, and then they hid in the pub. I really like that moment. And that's obviously where they found Arian. And she had to come along. And I think it's a good thing she did. I really liked her. And I really liked the merfolk. I really enjoyed them. I would have loved to see more of their city. I think that's it's always very interesting to me, cities that are underwater, that humans can visit, and how they can breed there. Because usually there is some sort of magic in place for that. And it is just very fascinating to me. I would imagine that would be so pretty to see underwater city as a human. I feel like the colors are very different there than on Earth, so I don't know. I really enjoyed that part. And then the dryads having to give up their own wood for the fire. They needed to sacrifice and make that decision by themselves. I think that was really cute. And then obviously the tiny sassy dragon was amazing. And he was only saving them because Christopher needed to write a book about him for obvious reasons. Yeah, I like that print too. I think that was cute. So overall, I did enjoy the book. I don't think it's anything special, but I think if you like a lot of magical creatures and you like a portal fantasy and a quest, this is a good book to read. Which I was glad about. Because the other Catherine Rundle book, I got so bored with it that I started to dislike it. Quite intense because of it. And I didn't have that book. I didn't continue reading because I just really didn't want to because I was so bored. This was interesting enough for me to continue. And I would read the sequel. Where would that go? Because Maul is dead. So we can't follow her anymore, and she was the chosen one. So now there's a new chosen one coming. Is the second book about the new chosen one? Are we gonna see Christopher in his adulthood being the guardian? What is it about? Does it say something? I don't think I have read the synopsis of that one. Alright, so it's only a few months later. And he does meet a new friend, which I then assume is the chosen one. Because, he's the gatekeeper. My favorite part was when they went to steal the boat. This was in the prison island, right? But their boat got stolen by the prisoner. Or did they steal the boat from the sea lady? I thought they were given that boat. I don't know. It was something with candles on an island, Kate. That's all I can remember. I didn't have the book. I got rid of the book, so I can't look it up anymore. But it was an island and candles. So the second book, The Poisoned King, is about when Christopher Forrester is unexpectedly woken by a miniature dragon chewing on his face. His heart leaps for joy. For months he's dreamed of returning to the archipelago, the secret islands where all the creatures of myth still live. But he did not know it would involve a rescue mission on the back of a sphinx or a plan to enter a dragon's lair. Nor did he imagine it would involve a girl with a flock of birds at her side, a new-hatched chick in her pocket, and a ravenous hunger for justice. That's what the second book is about. It is only a few months later. If they kill the chosen one, it cannot be, right? Because they are reborn as baby. So a few months later is only... But, why is that so important then? Well, the second book is also not on audio. That is a bit sad. I don't really want to buy the second book. But I would I would continue on audio. That I would be fine with. No, it was before they had to retrieve the boat. I don't think I can remember. When did they have to retrieve the boat then? This is how little I remember, because normally when I get reminded or somebody mentions a specific part of the book, I remember again, but it is just not ringing a bell currently. I don't think I have bells to ring currently. Maybe that's the problem. My brain does not have bells to ring anymore. Stop trying to refocus, just keep focused. I don't remember what it was, but there were some creatures guarding it. They didn't get caught, right? By some sort of police that wanted that they had to steal the boat back. I was really angry when they were at the port and the killer actually killed the griffin. That I was extremely angry about. That is not okay. I did not like that part of the book. Like, that was the last griffin. How can you kill that off? And it was really sad that the two kids had to do that. No, can you stop? Had to do the burial ceremony by themselves. I felt that was very sad. They needed a boat of special wood. Oh, the dryad boat. Oh, yes. Oh, now I get it. Yeah, there were creatures there. You know, the stinky ones, right? Also in the old house. And that's why Night Hand got injured. Because they were there, and all the stinky creatures were there, and they were trying to eat them. And Night Hand fought off 5 of them. And then they had to steal the boat and get out. The griffin was so sad. I did not like that. Yeah. How can you, like, you're making a book about impossible creatures and you're killing off the last of a kind. Like, I earlier said that I really appreciate when they, you know, dare to kill off characters, but I did not mean the animals. You cannot kill off the last of a kind of a magical creature. That is not okay. It is never okay. You can kill off every human, but you cannot kill off the last kind of the magical creatures. That is not allowed. Yeah, that was really sad. I really want them to find another griffin. Let this miracle griffin follow when I see. Yeah, right? So obviously, they should have burned him instead of buried him. And then he would come back from the ashes, right? That's what griffins do. Why would you do that? Not a magic creature. Just, yeah, I feel like this was such a... I think this is why the book is not 5 stars. Now I found out. This is the reason, guys. How could you do that? That is just pure cruelty. That is so cruel to your readers. And then you're doing that to children, right? You're selling, this is a good book. It is children's safety. And then they learn immediately, never be one of the last of your kind, because you will die alone. No, Phoenix to do. Yeah, but also now griffins, Larissa. That is very important that griffins also do this now. That is how we save him. Yeah, no, you're right though. Yeah, they better save the damn griffin. Or find another one. I don't know. I was really sad about the griffin. But it took me so long to remember. Looking at the poll, it does look like you guys would rather read Witchlight by Dominique Villante in the next one. I just looked it up, and it's $8.50 on Amazon, so I think that is doable. I guess that you do need to get the book or ebook, because the first book did not have an audiobook, so I assume the second does not have it either. The ebook is on Storytel though. And so it's Witchlight. Both of these are as an ebook on Storytel. I missed them. Yeah, it's new. They do that now. we have just invented that. No, that is the only thing that was like, you can really do that. That is not, yeah. That felt not okay. But I enjoyed it. But like, if my nephew could read English, I would not mind giving this book away. I will probably not keep this on my shelf forever. Which is a tiny bit sad, because so far, I don't think we have read a lot of Pinch of Mischief book club books that I gave 5 stars and really needed to have on my shelves. The first we read, I also bought the second for, and I plan to unhaul both of them because they were not... Yeah, I'm not really interested in reading the second. Which other ones did we read? Step for the Christmas I really liked. That one was good. Foxheart I plan to unhaul and read. Oh, we did read Witch Park in March. That is true. We changed the second Foxheart book to Witch Park. That's how we read it. And it feels very fitting that we're now exchanging another sequel that we do not feel like we need to read for the sequel of Witch Park. That does feel like a full circle moment though. So that is good. I will put it in the Discord. So I changed the channel now. Alright, I changed that. So next month's book is going to be Witchlight. Yes, very. Yeah, it felt like a full circle moment. I think that is good. If I can find the audiobook of The Poison King, I will still read it. So if you voted that you would rather read The Poison King, we can still buddy read it. That is absolutely fine by me. So let me know. But the official book will be Witchlight then, which I am excited about. But I think that's it. I don't think I can tell any more about this book. I think the rest I have forgotten, if I'm completely honest. Me neither. Yeah, this was it. I think I've done better than I expected beforehand, so that is good. Thanks, Elisa and thank you all again so much for being here tonight, even though I was very, very late with letting you guys know the link and everything, and being late overall because of the time change. So I do really appreciate you guys still being here, still showing up, even when I messed up. I do really appreciate that. So I wanted to say again. Thanks for hosting, no problem. Thanks for hosting live still since it has been a while. It has been a while, yes. But it felt fair to still do it. It didn't feel fair to just leave it because we all read it. And I think it went better than expected 10 minutes before the live show. So overall, I think you guys jogged my memory enough to do this. So that is really good. But it was a group effort, that's for sure. It's all good, and it was nice to chat with you. Yeah, I do really feel like that. I am now going to make the live for tomorrow. Tomorrow is pumpkin carving day, but please feel free to do any other craft you would like to do. I am going to pumpkin carve, and I have some, how do you call it? This is so clear. This is helping extremely. See? Now you should know. I know the Dutch word, schablone. Can somebody translate that for me, please? I have on Pinterest a sheet with shapes on it, specifically for cutting pumpkins. And it is with Disney characters and stuff. So I should share those for tomorrow. We have to set the date for the Vampire Knitting Club live show. I'm yet to pick that up. Yeah, we have to set that date. And I was waiting for this poll to be done as well as Barbara's poll. I will now templates. Yes, that's it. Thank you. Templates. It's templates. I have cutting templates for pumpkins, for Disney stuff and such like that. So I might print out some of those and cut the pumpkins Disney style, and I will share them with you too. And I will now check what date won Barbara's poll. So I will not get that date. I will just leave that out of the poll. Because I also still need to read the Vampire Knitting Club. Okay, so, but that is an audiobook. So I have a good feeling about it. However, this week I have been trying to read as many gothic horrors as I can. And next week I want to read as many spoopy middle grades as I can, because specifically I have two I want to read on Halloween Day. So Halloween Day we're gonna do the 24-hour sort of readathon-ish. Started it, but not for in. Yeah, I don't think it's extremely long, is it, Larissa? I'm gonna remove the spoilers and the impossible creatures because we're not talking about any of them. Let me check. Vampire Knitting Club. It is 6 hours. So I feel like that is so doable in a week. I think anybody can do that in a week. But I do think that Barbara's live show is next weekend, is it not? Where is it? Why can't I find it? I always feel like that some channels disappear. Anne of Green. Oh, it's tied. Thursday or Sunday. It's not. I'm going to sleep now. Thanks so much for the live show. Bye, Ivka. I'm not gonna read the Vampire Nanny Show this week though, because these are all the middle grades still on the reading. And I want to do it in the last week of October now. Specifically, the last day of October, as well as A Bite Above the Rest, I think are really, really good for Halloween. So that's why we're doing it, because I felt like I did not do the boo party well enough in the last weeks. So we're doing a 24-hour readathon on Friday. I have to work that day, so that is going to be interesting. But I only have to work late in the afternoon, and it's for 2 hours. It's probably going to, fade me out, and I'm going to be completely tired after that. But, and I have to work a bit on the morning. That is unfortunate, because that is in reading experience. So I have to work at 12:30. So I was like, maybe do some reading sprints in the morning. And then go to work. And then in the evening, I will obviously do reading sprints again. And that day, I really want to read The Last Day of October by Phill Hichkes. It is called The Last Day of October. I have to read this on Halloween. And I'm going to make a last cute Halloween vlog on Halloween, and then I will post it hopefully the day after Halloween. But it might be 2 days later, because Friday is probably going to be extremely tiring for me. These I want to read on Halloween. So these I want to start tomorrow. This one was for camp and I didn't get to it. Is Dracula's and Daughters. And then I have Franciscan Stillskin. It has been on the TBR for 2 years now. I don't know why, because it is such a small book and it has such a big font. So it is not going to be a problem to read. And then I have bought the Chris Payne Family Witch Hunters this year for Halloween. And I bought Dance Macabre because we've been to the attraction. Which you're now going to see the vlog of next year. Because I don't have the footage. So yeah, I would like to read those books before Halloween, and then I will read the Knitting Vampire book. That's a lot. Yeah, I have Last Day in October and the Dracula's Daughters on my TBR. See? Yeah, well, guess how I got this one, Kate? Kate got this for me. Isn't it lovely? And it's actually on yellow paper and with a lot of white and a big font. It is for dyslexic people. I think that is really nice. But I feel like this book I could read in the morning. And then this after work maybe. I cannot find the audiobook of this, I believe. If I would have the audiobook of this would be so easy because I drive an hour to work, an hour back from work, so then I would definitely get this done. But I don't... Oh, that's a good... It has pictures. I'm very... This seems... Imagine moving to a town where every day is like Halloween, where costumes are worn daily, Halloween decorations stay up year-round, and the town hall looks like a vampire castle. Sounds amazing, right? Well, not if you're Caleb Fisher. Caleb thinks Samhain, Wisconsin is the strangest place he's ever been, and not strange in a good way. Strange in a creepy, something is definitely not right around here way. And this feels like a good Halloween book, as well as, if you're gonna call it The Last Day of October, and you're Phill Hichkes, this should be read on Halloween. Like, he's my favorite. Spooky middle grade author, I feel like this has to be done. It can only be done on Halloween, right? I also bought The Last Day of October. Yeah, we should all read it on the last day of October. I feel like that it has to be done. So, and it is not long. It is 89 pages. So I feel like it doesn't matter how long you have to work that Friday, you can probably get a 100-page book done. If you want to. I also worked there for... Yeah. Yeah, it's the second day I go back to work, so I'm a bit nervous about it. Very excited mostly, but also a tiny bit nervous. I expect that I'm gonna be very tired from it. And I do have my evening sprints that night that I really, really want to do because it's Halloween. I'm actually thinking of dressing up. But now that I thought of dressing up, but now that I have to work that day, it is probably not gonna happen. But I'm very excited for the Halloween sprints. If we have sprints Friday, we could easily read the last. Yeah, like I will definitely sprint in the evening, and I'm thinking maybe the problem is that I have to work. I have a work call that morning, and it's not gonna take long. But it is from 11:30 until 12. So it is a very annoying time because I was thinking maybe doing some sprints from either 9 till 12 or 10 till 12. And if you make that till 11, because I have to work, it is very short. So then I have to do it from 9 on. But that is, normally I get out of bed by 9. So am I going to wake up early on a day that I have to work for, the second time ever again? But I do want to do sprints in the morning and then sprints in the evening. So probably, yes, I'm going to do that. And they will be Discord sprints to make it more comfortable for me. And then obviously at night it will be just normal YouTube sprints. But that is the plan. And then we can definitely read this together. Here you go down the woods today. You're in for a nasty surprise. Seeking creepy trails instead of candy, Cody and his friends set out on Halloween to search for the ruins of the haunted McBride house in the woods near his home in Oregon. The house has taken on a sinister legendary status after it burned down 100 years ago, with tragic consequences. And it's said that the ghosts of the family who lived there return each year on the last day of October. But when they find the house, the truth of what is happening on this eerie autumn night is more terrifying than the 3 teenagers could have ever imagined. That sounds like Hocus Pocus mixed with Phill Hichkes. And that sounds perfect to me. So yeah, I will definitely try to read those 2 on Halloween. I feel like it has to be done. That is the plans. I will post most of those live shows tomorrow because I still need to make a picture with pumpkins. But I will share the templates now so that everybody does know that it is happening. And they can do their own craft. If you don't want to do pumpkins, that is absolutely fine. But that's it. And I will post the poll now for the live show of the Vampires Knitting Club. Thank you all so much for being here, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.